Jeff and Jeremy in the Morning podcast brought to you commercial free by another podcast. You've subscribed to ours, now subscribe to theirs. It's the Slow County Real Estate Podcast with Hal Swayze. When you're done with this, go listen to something that will actually enrich your life. California DRE 011111911. Fictional best friends. There's a list that was compiled by Entertainment Weekly. I don't know what scientific process they use to find out who the best fictional best friends are. The best pairing of best friends.
It's just like a pretend friend, like when you were a kid and you had your make-believe friend?
No, this is basically best friends from TV shows and movies.
Oh, you mean like characters?
Yeah.
That were friends on TV?
Mm-hmm.
Like Step Brothers? You've still not seen Step Brothers, have you?
No, I don't think Step Brothers guys made it. I've not, no.
What is your problem? How could it be?
I know, I need to see it.
Dale and...
Because Role Models was so high above my expectations that that's my expectation. Role Models is my expectation for Step Brothers. Is it going to meet what I got out of Role Models and exceed? Is Step Brothers better?
Are you going to believe what I say?
Yeah, I mean, you've seen. I know you've seen both, and you revere both.
I've seen Step Brothers probably at least 10 times. I've seen Role Models maybe twice. I know I've seen at least twice. I've seen it like twice too. But it's so fun. Every time I'm around somebody who hasn't seen Step Brothers, I'm like, we got to watch this right now. If it's convenient to watch it right now, and everybody that watches it loves it. They're like, yeah, it looks stupid. I'm like, yeah, it is. It is stupid, but it's stupid funny. Brennan, by the way. Thank you, Cliff. Appreciate you. Cliff and AG.
Number 3 on my list. Not on my list.
You love Adam Scott from Parks and Rec. He's in it.
Mm-hmm.
He's money.
Speaking of Parks and Rec.
He has money in it.
The best fictional best friends, at least number 3 of the 25 that they listed, was Leslie and Ann on Parks and Rec. Yeah. Which is strange because Ann left, and I'm convinced it's because the storyline was going nowhere with Ann and Chris, and they needed to write her out of the script for the last 2 seasons of Parks and Rec, and that's what they did. They axed the character on that. I'm convinced of that. They wanted to focus more on Ann and Ben, and did not want. I'm sorry, Ann and they needed to focus more on Leslie and Ben, and they needed Ann to go away and not steal the attention from that storyline, and they wrote her out of it. But they were number 3 on the list. Who are the best? Is it Step Brothers? Step Brothers the best friends? But they're not friends, right? They're adversaries.
Well, they are in the beginning, but I don't want to ruin it for you. They become friends.
Well, I could see that coming. I figured as much.
Yeah, no, it's Tom Haverford and Donna. At Parks and Rec. Treat yourself. Yeah. Treat yourself. Yeah. Treat yourself.
But are they really best friends?
I mean, they're treat yourself.
Convenience.
Friends,
best friends. What about Maverick and Goose?
Nah.
Why? Because Maverick killed Goose?
Well, he didn't kill him, but it was his fault. It was involuntary manslaughter, I believe. No, I don't know what it was called, but yeah, it was an accident. And I don't know if they were. We didn't get enough Maverick and Goose. But yeah, I guess so. Oh, it's like Laverne and Shirley. I mean, that's what we're doing here.
Yeah, Laverne and Shirley did not make the list.
How about Seinfeld? Did anybody from Seinfeld? Did George and Jerry?
Nah, because they're all kind of weird, equally.
Yeah, they're all. It's
people.
like a 4-way.
You know. Yeah. I mean, when these 4
people hate everyone else. That's what I love about that show.
My mom loved this movie. Do you remember the movie in which Bette Midler sings the song "Wind Beneath My Wings"?
Oh my God, no!
Beaches? What's up, Beaches?
Yes, that's a total chick flick. Can't listen to that song either because they played it at my dad's funeral. Why'd they have to ruin that song for me? It's not like it would have ever been my favorite anyways. But anytime that song comes on, or that fat Hawaiian guy, that big fat guy, remember him? He sang "Over the Rainbow." That was my brother's favorite song. They played it at his funeral. I just can't. Sucks. Can't hear those songs.
Did you ever know that you're my hero? That song?
No, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, you moron.
Oh, okay. But I was talking about the Beaches song.
You are the wind beneath my wings. Yes, I think that's it. Yeah, you're not going to get me off. You're not going to
think-
get me to tear up with your singing.
I
Trust me.
think a movie about friends in which Bette Midler's like, I'll do the movie, but I got to sing the song. That's featured in the movie.
Yes,
that's a total Mandy Moore move.
That's a total Bette Midler move. What are you talking about? Mandy Moore stole that from Bette Midler. Mandy Moore's an angel compared to Bette Midler. Can you imagine what Bette Midler's like?
In your opinion, who are the best fictional best friends? Okay, the best fictional best friends. Scooby-Doo.
Shaggy and Scooby-Doo.
And Shaggy getting a nod on here. Thank you so much. 805-543-3693. Unnamed texter. We'll have to change your name to Scooby Loves Shaggy. We can do that, right? That's a good one.
We can do anything.
Shaggy Loves Scooby.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
The best. By the way, the top of their list, I don't know that I necessarily
What about
agree with
Leslie
this
and
one.
Ron? I mean, we keep going back to Parks and Rec. Ron Swanson had no other friend but Leslie Knope because he hated everyone.
That is true.
And Leslie loved him like a brother.
But he tolerated her to the point that he could tolerate anybody. He tolerated her the most. Bill and Ted were the best of all, according to Entertainment Weekly. I don't know about that. I never seen a single Bill and Ted movie, so I don't know. But they were the best fictional best friends. And you know what? I mean, their legacy transpired over 1989 to 2020 is how long they had their legacy go on. So Thelma and Louise,
Rachel and
Leslie.
Phoebe. I can't believe Stephanie. Listen, I knew somebody was going to bring Friends into this. I've never watched Friends. Have you ever watched Friends? I mean, I've never sat down and watched an entire episode.
Neither have I. I have been at people's houses when they're like, oh, Friends is on, I got to watch Friends. They watch Friends. I become disinterested.
Yes.
And I tune out and I do something else. I could not tell you what the story arc of a single episode of Friends is. And I think you and I are rare because of that. Most people know a lot of Friends. I know nothing about Friends. I know that there were a bunch of 20-something-year-old guys and gals that lived in an apartment across the hall from each other. That's it.
Yeah, I'm really bad at this game because all the shows, like Everybody Loves Raymond, I don't know.
No.
Raymond was selfish. He didn't like anybody. He just liked him as his wife and his kids, I guess.
There was no good friends.
Kind of like you. You don't really like anybody but your wife and kids, so.
That's true.
You. I can't even name a friend. I cannot name one person that I know that you have told me that you like hanging out with. Not
you
one.
See him every morning when you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror. No. I like hanging out with you.
We never hang out.
But but we hang out. Come on. Do we need to hang out more than we?
Well, we hung out in college. 4 hours, even when we moved to town, I would be like, "What are you doing?" You're like, "Screw you! I'm trying to meet a girl or something." You know, like you were 5. I was sitting in my apartment eating hot dogs, watching Cops, homesick as hell. I put on 30 pounds.
You to come out.
You're out to the bars. You're out running around. I'm like, "What are you doing?" You're like, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it."
I'd invite you. I'd say, "Do you want to go out, meet some people in this new community that you live in?"
Oh my God.
And you're like, "No, I'd rather eat hot dogs."
No, I never said that, and I don't think you've ever.
Speaking of Everybody Loves Raymond, you were like Robert. You just sat at home and ate bologna.
Once you actually met your wife, girlfriend, then you started hanging out. Then you're like, "Hey, what are you doing? You want to go play golf?" I'm like, "Oh, well, look who's calling." I don't know, honestly, one person. Who do you hang out with? Do you have a friend?
No, I don't. I have 0 friends, and I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that.
Your kids are your friends.
I mean, I have you as my friend.
Yeah, but we don't ever do anything. We just do this.
I don't hang out with anybody. For a while there, I would hang out with Matt a little bit on the side, but then I moved north of the grade, and sometimes you just lose your friends to the
Matt?
South of the grade.
What did he do?
Matt Cross. I'd hang out with him from time to time.
Yeah, but he just talks about himself all the time.
Well, why do you think I moved north of the grade?
I'm just kidding, man.
And I'm kidding too, Matt.
I only say that because I'm 1,700 miles away. You can't come find me.
I don't know. I ran across an acquaintance the other day. He's like, I ran into
Matt. Just so you know, if you haven't seen Matt Cross, he's a musician. He's a big dude.
Kill us. He'd kill us. Like literally pound us into the ground.
Squash us with his hands.
And so, yeah.
He's going to do now, Matt.
This is why. This is why I only hang out with my kids and my wife, because
I used to hang out with what's his face from that other band. God, you're like a band junkie. The guy from
no, they work their way
Truth About
into
Seafood. What's his name? Brad. You and Brad would go.
I don't think we were ever friends. We'd go out like a couple times and talk about ideas, and I don't know if we're friends. I just don't. I don't know. There's not a lot of time.
Brad's a pretty funny guy. He's pretty dry sense of humor. I like Brad.
The reason why is just my wife and kids is I get so much enjoyment. And I could not explain to you, because, I mean, I'm not trying to belittle you in any way, but the amount of thought investment that goes into behind your kids and how much you love them, how much you genuinely care. And I feel like if I'm spending time with friends, I'm wasting time that could be spent with my kids. My son, over the last 4 days, has been working on, he wants to start a business. He's 8. He wants to start a business and get it hit the ground running with it this summer. Okay.
All right. Well, what kind of business?
You know his business? His business plan is to mow lawns.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, that's a good one, bud. You know. So what happened was his best friend.
Has he ever mowed a lawn first? Has he ever mowed your lawn?
I'm getting to that. Okay. On St. Patrick's Day, his best friend's older brother was talking about his business plan for the summer, and his business plan for the summer, he's in 7th grade, is he went out and bought a pressure washer, and he's going to clean people's garbage cans. You know, garbage cans get disgusting. He's going to do it, $15 per garbage can.
Damn.
Most people have. I know, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, what? You know what? We're operating in that
1984.
Yeah.
$5 would have been big time.
At first, my initial reaction was like, yeah, you'll never get it. And then I was like, well, hold on a second. Inflation. Yeah, that's a pretty good price, actually. And so.
Is it okay if a 7th grader comes to your door and says, I'll clean your garbage can for $15? Like, yeah, how about 10?
No, to negotiate?
He's like,
I only got 10.
All right, but don't tell your neighbors.
This is why you keep cash on hand. So you can say, I only got a $10 bill. What did you do it for that? But most people have four garbage cans. He went out, he set up a Venmo account with his parents' help and all that stuff so people could pay easily and all that stuff. Not my son, his friend's older brother. But then that got the wheels turning. He's like, oh, well, he's starting a business. I need to start a business. And he's 5 years behind him, right? So, and he's like, so he starts talking to me seriously about it on the way home from St. Patrick's Day. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. When I was a kid, I mowed lawns. You know, I'd push the lawnmower around the neighborhood and I'd be like, knock on doors and I'd be like, hey, I'll mow your lawn for $5, $10 if it was a big lawn. You know, I would just kind of, set the price. And he's like, okay, I want to do that. I'm like, okay. And I didn't really think much of it. Then little did I know, for 3 days, he's hatching a plan. He brings me down this drawing that he made that he wants to, it's the blueprint for his logo. And it's going to be called Logical Lawns. And at Logical Lawns, and I was like, oh, you know, alliteration works, huh? He's like, yep, for sure. At Logical Lawns, he's going to mow your lawn. And he wanted to call it, actually, that's not true. He wanted to call it Logical Lawn Mowing. And I said, you know, but then he started talking about, yeah, I'll go do full yard services. We'll pull weeds. I'll pick up dog crap. I'll do that kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, then you need to change your name and get it away from just lawn mowing, because only people are going to think you're only available for lawn mowing. So that's why he's calling it Logical Lawns. Anyways, all this, I'm thinking it's going to fizzle out. Right? The whole time.
There's a lot that goes into this. Like, where do you put the yards
absolutely.
for things? How do you get the lawnmower from point A to point B? Who's paying for the gas? How do you go?
So I start grilling him on this.
Yeah.
I start grilling him on this, and I'm like, well, you know, you gotta mow a lawn before you can start mowing lawns. So I'll let you mow the front lawn, and we'll do a couple practice runs on that. And we did the first one last night, Sunday night, because that's when it was ready to be cut. And I sat there and he did the whole thing, went through the whole process. I'm out there with him. I'm like, okay, what you want to do is you want to line it up and the wheels on the short grass and, make sure that it's lined up so you get good, clean cuts. And he struggled a bit with it, but then by the end he got, and it's not a big yard, right? So by the end he got it, and then he was actually taking it upon his own to look at the lawn and see areas that he missed and go back and hit those areas. So I'm like, oh man, this is getting real now. Now I'm going to have to fund some kind of business this summer.
And what happens when he decides that he'd rather go hang out with his friends or go on do something? And now who's going to mow the lawns that he made appointments with? Is that going to be
That's when you touch the. That's when you teach the life lesson. Do you have any lawn mowing appointments? Do you have any dog crap pickup appointments? Do you have any weeding appointments?
Great. This is all good because it'll all teach him very young, responsibility. Like I didn't have a job. My parents just worked my ass all the time. I had so much. We didn't call them chores, and I didn't get an allowance. I was just told, do this.
He is much better off working for my neighbors than me. They are going to pay him more than me. Okay?
Well, I can't wait to
it's just the way it is.
When's he going to start?
He wants to design a T-shirt, like a uniform. He wants to design something on Canva for it. I was like, "What? How do you know what Canva is? I don't know what Canva is."
So did you tell me hey, listen, we can design it all you want.
We use Canva all the time.
We can't go purchase a uniform until you get some paychecks in. You got to get paid.
Right? No, that's what I said. Well, I think we're going to provide the seed money for my plan is he can use the existing lawnmower that we have. And then I'm going to go buy him another lawnmower that's a little bit better because he's going to need a little bit better lawnmower to do this thing.
Is this gas or electric?
Electric. So he's got a cap each day. He's going to have a big break at the middle of the day.
Is this
lots of batteries?
Yeah, you're going to have to buy more batteries. Is this a Hyper Tough from Walmart or is this a real lawnmower?
Right now it's the Hyper Tough, but he's going to have to buy a better lawnmower than the Hyper Tough.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning. Don't miss a moment. Subscribe to the podcast on Google, Apple, YouTube by clicking on Jeff and Jeremy at KZOC.com.
Jeff and Jeremy in the Morning podcast brought to you commercial free by another podcast. You've subscribed to ours, now subscribe to theirs. It's the Slow County Real Estate Podcast with Hal Swayze. When you're done with this, go listen to something that will actually enrich your life. California DRE 011111911.